Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where two friends, two amigos, come together to talk about nerd shit. That's right, Ed is gone. Right now, it's me and Miguel. So today is going to be a fun-packed 3-hour-long episode.
Let's go.
It's going to be very short, and it's going to get off the rails quickly.
I hope.
Do you even want to do this pod? Let's just talk about something else.
You would just go home? Oh.
Yeah. I think I'm good. No.
This is fun. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Oh wait, let me actually see. Okay, great. Okay, guys. So today we're going to talk about. We have no feature discussion. If you've heard our podcast, this one is not going to be like our other podcasts. If this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, why don't you go listen to another episode and catch up what we are?
You can come
this
back.
This one is not it. Like this is just
vibes.
This is vibes. This is for long-time listeners. You're just hanging out with us, you know?
That's right.
Pull up a chair, pour yourself a drink, and let's get with it. So, listen, no real feature discussion. We're just going to hang out and chill. So let's do some like trailer discussions. Trailer talk.
Trailer talk.
Our new segment, Trailer Talk.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I love it.
I know you put this one first, but I want to go to the second option, Gladiator 2. We got to talk about that first. It came out. I think it's buzzing. Miguel, what did you think of the Gladiator 2 trailer?
Listen, I really hate that Ed's not here this week because this feels like a you guys movie, you know? So I don't know how you guys feel or excitement wise for this trailer. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be real. Let me just get honest with you for a second. You know what I mean?
All right. Tell me. Yeah. Get honest with me.
You know?
I'm ready.
Man, guys, what a boring trailer this was for a movie that I expected to be so exhilarating.
Yeah.
And I don't have any nostalgia for the first one, so I'm not coming into this one going like, "Oh, thank God, it's Gladiator 2." I came into this going like, "Oh, well, I hope it, is worthy of a sequel," because it's like the first one is arguably one of the greatest films of all time.
Of course, you've seen the whole thing.
I'm told.
Oh, allegedly,
is what the streets are saying. Okay,
yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. It just kind of, and maybe I'm wrong here, but it just kind of felt familiar, and.
Yes,
and
you
maybe
said it
that's
correctly.
Maybe that's what people want from this movie, but it kind of feels like choices that Ridley Scott has been making over the last few movies. Is just like, I'm gonna do what I know how to do, and I'm not gonna push the envelope at all.
Yeah,
can I say that?
What, push the envelope?
Yeah, no. As far as like Ridley Scott, like he's one of
I see that. I mean, yeah,
like
we didn't really like Napoleon. And I forget the movie he did before that one.
I don't know. He didn't do Blade Runner, But
Ed would know. Gladiator 2 trailer. What did I think of it? What?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. What did you think?
Oh, you want to hear my thoughts? I think you're kind of right. When I was feeling it out, there was nothing really original coming out. It's like, I'm a gladiator. I got to win my freedom, and I got to fight my way through. And it just felt like, I get it. I feel like I've already seen this movie, just reskinned or updated. This is a remastered version of Gladiator.
Yes.
Yes, it looks cleaner, it looks crispier, but I feel like story-wise, it looks great, it looks beautiful. But I just have no real. I'm going to watch it because I do have the nostalgia, factor with it.
Sure.
But I don't know. I just don't feel like there's any, like you said, it feels very familiar. Nothing original on my end, but it looks great. And I actually, I'm looking forward to Pedro's, participation in this. And I think that guy who's playing Gladiator is well cast.
So it's Pedro Pascal and, oh fuck, I just had it in front of me. And
Mescal. Paul
Mescal. They can't be doing that. That's no. Okay, this is not. They cannot
Pascal
be in the same
Mescal.
movie. I'll say this. This
Gladiator
is my first time
2.
seeing Paul Mescal. He's very popular right now. Like he's blowing up. So this will be kind of like my intro to him. And I kind of hated that I was like, oh, it's so kind of humdrum of it all because it's like I assume I'm gonna be like other first timers to him and be like, oh, maybe he's not that good of an actor, or maybe I'm not as. Like maybe he's not going to sell a movie ticket for me in the future because I wasn't super into this movie. But apparently he's really hot right now. People love him.
Someone who's always hot is Denzel Washington.
Let's talk. I
feel like we have to talk about Denzel as well. You have strong opinions about Denzel on this trailer.
I do. I don't remember. Oh, we were talking about his accent, or were we talking about that?
Yeah, I think it's a little like anachronistic. Like it doesn't feel like this person would like be
fit in that.
This
world.
person doesn't exist. It feels like I'm watching American Gangster with these, like they've reskinned him with Gladiator.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. No, it's for sure. Can you move? Sorry, my cat's trying to jump up here. Yeah, it does kind of feel a little out of place, but I personally think Denzel Washington is so fucking cool. Yeah. That I will watch him in any movie. I'm kind of into it. I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like he daps the dude up at one point.
It's like he came up from a different, he walked on set from another movie and walked in on here and like is doing and he was like, movies.
Do you have a costume for me? Okay, I'll just wear this.
Yeah.
No, he looks cool as shit too. And obviously like he's the bad guy of the movie, right? Did we talk about this? Like structure of the movie? Did you get anything from this trailer? The bad guy? Yeah. So they're setting it up for... They're setting it up for Mezcal Pascal, like they're the, you know, but it's not the case because like clearly Pedro Pascal's character has feelings about how the people of Rome are being treated. So he's like the sense of, he's got exactly. I kind of like that moment. Yeah. He seems like he's got this sense of duty, but he really feels some type of way about it. And obviously Paul Mescal is going to be like hyper focused on him as the bad guy, and then he's going to realize, wait a second, we're the good guys. The other two things that made me roll my eyes, I say two things because it's like, what are we doing here? Is Joseph Quinn and his I don't know, twin brother or whatever.
What is that? Yeah,
guys. Again, just rehashing because it's like Joaquin Phoenix was kind of eccentric, right? In the first,
but he wasn't crazy eccentric. He was just like towing the line really well.
And this was like, they had to push that boundary a little bit, but
there is no line. Fuck the line. I just brushed it off with my feet.
We're just gonna do this. Exist. Why is he cackling like the Joker? Like, stop doing that. You know.
Yeah.
It just feels kind of trite and.
I have a problem with the first part of the trailer where it's like, I remember the day when this gladiator got everybody free. He would go up against an empire, and then Denzel's immediately next question is, "Where are you from?" I don't know where I'm from, and I don't know my mother. Wait, so you're telling me you don't know where you're from or born, and you don't know your mom, but you remember the day that he... Yeah, very odd to me as far as like putting it together. Oh, and you put No Church in the Wild. Yes, an old ass song. They're bringing it back, and
let me tell you,
this new trailer.
I have thoughts about this song being used for this trailer. First off, I love this song. It's a great song. I'm not shitting the song.
It's a great song
whatsoever.
No.
Super dope.
No,
I've been listening. You know, I've listened to it for over a decade now. You know what I mean? Like it's a great song. Here's my problem. First off, I rewatched the trailer a few different times. I personally think number one, the trailer's too long. Okay,
it is.
And when they start that beat of No Church in the Wild for the rest of the trailer, they absolutely could have cut it off a half beat before that, and that could have been the trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gave you everything you needed to know without giving too much. And then they were like, now let's really hammer it home. Could you move, please? Or do you want to talk about that? Like, let's hammer it home, the whole fucking story right here in this last half of the trailer. And let's, you know, time it to this song, which is super on the nose. I feel like someone was like, hey, Ridley, listen to this song. And he heard the words and he was like, it's perfect, you know, but it's like, it's just too much, you know. I was kind of rolling my eyes the entire time after that song.
I feel like
it's such a cool song.
Yeah, it feels like an attempt to like, oh, we have to modernize it for today's culture.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know, I was thinking about this. I went back after I watched the trailer for the first time. I went and I watched for the first time in a while Wakanda Forever. That trailer.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that
Wakanda
one?
Forever. Yeah, that was a really good trailer.
Yes, but specifically, I want to talk about the music choices in that trailer. Mm-hmm. How they start with "No Woman, No Cry." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's very meaningful, right? Chadwick Boseman passed away. It's like they're saying like the women of his story, they are going to kind of carry this story for this movie, you know. And it works, but it's also emotional. You know what I mean? There's a connection to it. And then halfway through that trailer, they flip the song to "We Gon' Be All Right." You know what I mean? And it's just like the perfect transition. They both use the word "all right" in the middle of the song. And then it's like the reveal and you don't even see Black Panther, but the reveal of Black Panther is the very last thing. And by the time it happens, you've kind of forgotten that exactly. You've kind of forgotten about Black Panther by the time that they reveal them at the end of that trailer. And it's just like it's such a well-crafted trailer. And I felt like this was not anything like that at all. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, let's use a trendy, not even a trendy song anymore, but like, let's use a trendy song, but not really use it well at all. They use the same two lines multiple times about, like, you know, blood on the mausoleum floor. Whatever. But that line, a coliseum door, you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, they're in the coliseum when they did it. And it's just not engaging at all. And for these reasons, I'm out. Okay. Like, I don't know that this is one that I'm going to rush to go see, you know?
Well, this will probably be an unofficial feature discussion. You know how we sneak those in our, what we're into, where me and Ed talk about it. But yeah, I mean, I think it looks, like I said, it's an updated version of Gladiator. But I don't know if it will live up to the original one.
Yeah. Guys, in theaters, November 22nd.
Another movie that fast approaches.
Go on.
Is F1. Have you heard about this? F1.
Would you call me?
No. F1 is got Brad Pitt and he's racing. And it made me question, what is the difference between NASCAR and F1? And Ed would know the answer.
Oh, fuck. I wish Ed was here when you would ask that question.
Yeah.
Get him on the phone. No.
Should we?
No. I mean, you could try. See if he answers. Ask him that one question, and right as he responds, hang up.
Okay. I'm going to try to call.
All right. F1 coming to theaters in 2025. Ed's on his phone. I've got thoughts about this trailer. I'm only going to fill some time for a second. We're going to talk to Ed, and then I'm going to talk about this trailer.
Okay. It's got the song We Will Rock You.
We Will Rock You. Another thing I'm going to talk about.
Has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message.
Wait, he has a British voicemail voice?
Wow. So
He's
many
like,
things.
I'm not going to have an American voicemail in my phone. I'm going to change that.
First off, look at him. He just texted us. He's on his phone right now. He's acknowledging that he's on his phone. But he refused to answer the call.
Ed, what is the difference between NASCAR and
Formula One?
NASCAR and F1. Well, what's the one that just goes straight and that's it?
What?
Isn't there a race where you just go
like
straight?
Drag racing? It's talking about like,
but they're like built really big. Yeah, man, people are screaming at their at the car right now. They're like, these fucking idiots.
Guys,
NASCAR goes in a circle, right?
Yeah.
NASCAR goes in a circle, and then the F1 travels through the world.
It's like a track.
Yeah.
I just want to go. I'll just go and put it out there. I don't give a fuck. Okay, like I don't care. I
wasn't even gonna watch this until you put it on our doc here.
No, I care about this.
I guess I'll have to watch it now.
I only care about this trailer because I'm into Brad Pitt. I think Brad Pitt's a really good actor. Okay. I know he's kind of marred in controversy, and I respect that. But he's also got a lot of movies that I really like. So when he's coming out with a new one, I'm paying attention. But I'm going to be honest. I think this is the downfall. I think this is the one. I think this plus everything else all tied together in the real world, he's about to hit a downward slope. Mark my words.
Wait, what's happening to him in the real world?
Oh, you know, like all this whole controversy between him and Angelina Jolie and like the kids, and they're in this like legal battle for money, but also like the kids are getting old enough now to have social media, and they're talking about how like he's an abusive dad and this and that. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not going to downplay that, but I also don't know enough to talk about it, so I'm not going to, you know.
I think the biggest thing to take from this is when I watched it, I was like, I'm fine. And then as I got near the end, I was like, okay, I'm kind of like,
here's what,
getting pulled with the shots. And then I come to realize, excuse me, who directed this?
Who did? Joseph Krasinski.
That's right. Joseph, the director of Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
Is that true?
And it is such
I thought it was a different director.
Such a Top Gun Maverick shot.
Top Gun Maverick.
When he's like, You're like,
yeah.
I saw you do that already. Okay, I've seen that. I saw that shot in Top Gun.
Yeah,
and it's that sense of it was one of the biggest movies of all time. It saved the theater experience, and now he's a little high on his own supply. Let's go ahead and we could do that same thing, but with cars.
Well, people love F1 right now because of the Netflix series, and like everyone is kind of into it.
Yep.
I think so. I mean, I haven't heard anyone talk about F1 since Netflix, and now it's like they're showing up in Vegas. They're showing up. People at work are talking about F1. God. I'm like, brother, you never even talked about F1 before Netflix.
Can I read this for a second?
Yeah, please read it. Go ahead.
Ed got back to you. You asked Ed, what's the difference? I'm sorry. What's the difference between NASCAR and F1? And Ed came back and said, F1 is the best drivers in the world, driving some of the fastest cars in the world on intricate tracks. NASCAR is for a certain kind of person who only turn in one steady direction, usually a circle. He's talking some mad shit about you NASCAR fans out there, okay?
Yeah.
And just remember, he's English, okay? He's got European sensibilities.
As you could tell from his voicemail, he is English.
Isn't that kind of hang on? Isn't that kind of like infuriating? You know what I mean? You're like,
yeah. Why would you purposefully change the default voicemail?
His Gmail is .uk.gmail.com.
No, it is.
I swear to God, it is. And it's like, oh, holding on to your roots much? Okay, like assimilate.
I need to make sure everybody knows I'm from England. Okay. I put it in my email, my voicemail, 214-489-UK. You know, that's my number.
UK. Like Ed would be like, oh, I'm gonna roll my eyes if like we made some joke about like, do you know the Queen? Oh, do you love tea? You know what I mean? Yeah. He'd be like, ugh. But then he's like super English at times. And you're like, oh, okay. So you do lean into it.
Joseph Krasinski.
What a great start to the episode.
What a great start. Top Gun Maverick, you know, pretty cool. And then you quoted, how am I supposed to make that safe? Why did you put that in the document?
Oh, I did. Okay, that was because one of the things I wanted to say was I wasn't sure. I was excited about this movie because I like Brad Pitt, but this trailer kind of bored me. It also made some choices that I was just like, in the same way that I felt about Ridley Scott using that song No Church in the Wild. That's how I felt about We Will Rock You in this trailer.
It's like, we've done this.
We get it. Please do. If you want to time, you know what I mean, the shots to some music, like just find some different music, you know?
Yeah.
Like let it feel different. But I rolled my eyes at this line because the trailer starts with him being like, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so has got the fastest car in the world and we need to be competitive or whatever. Yeah, whatever he said. And she goes, well, how am I supposed to make that safe? And he goes, who said anything about being safe? Oh my God. Shoot me right in the dick. I was just... And then immediately they go into the song and it's just like, oh my God. I'm not into it. I'm not into it.
Yeah,
do you have thoughts or...
I mean, yeah, my thoughts is that it's got the Top Gun Maverick director, and that's pretty cool. Like, I think both of these trailers are giving me nice visuals. So I'm going to go in a little buzzed, and I'm going to have a good time, like watching wallpaper move, or screensaver, excuse me. And another thing, there's a lot of cars movies lately. Right? We had Ferrari, we had F1, we had
Ford versus Ferrari. You know,
Ford versus Ferrari. That's right, Ferrari hitting it big. And I feel like we had the the Gran Turismo movie.
Oh yeah. Racing cars been hot since Pixar, you know.
That's trailer talk. Oh, before I go, you don't care, but Ed had a blast with this. I saw the trailer for Gladiator 2, going back to Gladiator 2.
Okay.
And I was just saying, oh man, how cool would it be if this had the original Hans Zimmer score? Remember you called us out on like, well, do you really know the score? And then me and Ed both jumped right away.
You sure did.
Well, right after that, I didn't sleep for hours. Like, I mean, what am I saying? I stayed up all night the night before working, and I needed to sleep. But I found the energy to stay up a little bit longer to make this trailer. So I took the trailer, removed the music, and I put in Hans Zimmer's original score. and I uploaded it to our YouTube. And guess what? Doing well.
How many views?
438 views in 9 hours. That's pretty good when we get 30 views or whatever on YouTube.
So thank you. Shout out.
Thank you everybody who's listening. Shout out to all the listeners. We appreciate you. We love you. You really put that bubbly feeling in our tummy.
That's what I was going to say.
So check it out at youtube.com/@punchdrunknerd. Thank you, everybody. And now let's do the summer movie wager updates. Despicable
Luis,
Me came out. What?
I couldn't believe that Despicable Me came out.
You didn't realize it came out?
I had no idea.
They've been marketing the shit out of it here in LA, I tell you that. The Minions are everywhere. You can't escape them. Maybe in Denver, it's a little too cold there. But Despicable Me 4 came out. Is that a movie you're going to see with your child?
Yes. I'm surprised we didn't do it this last weekend over the 4th because we needed a million things to do to keep him entertained. But yeah,
you guys watched Godzilla Kong.
Yeah, hell yeah, we did. Like Americans, Ed.
He saw it too with his daughter.
Yeah, but I'm sure he was like, it's for a certain type of person.
We're going to put on the British audio translation where everybody's been British.
No, but you know what? He probably hated Trapper. Did you ever see that movie?
Trapper
was like the guy in the Hawaiian shirt. He was like the vet. He was like kind of the love interest of the main lady. Godzilla versus Kong 2.
Oh, Godzilla. Okay.
He was a character in that movie.
There's a person named Trapper?
Trapper, yeah. And people are like, is he English? Is he Australian? And I know Ed hated him regardless.
Okay.
You know,
if you got a bad accent, Ed won't like you.
He won't. He'll tell you.
Despicable Me 4 came out. Yeah, Despicable Me 4 came out. Whopping $146 million. That's a lot when you compare it to movies like Furiosa that only made like 20 million opening weekend. It's already reached.
That up? Sorry,
I have to. Oh no, Miguel. I'm going to be honest. I think there's a little delay between here, so we're going to have a fun time.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm noticing it too. Do you want to pause for a quick second?
Yeah, let's pause. Let's be right back. And we're back. Yes, Despicable Me 4 is at number 4 right now in the box office. And I feel like if you go to our summer movie wager now in our Instagram, click on that link. The competition is getting close now. It used to be a blowout with me in the front, but now all the big movie numbers are coming in. It's getting close.
It's getting close with a couple of you guys.
A couple of us, yeah. Out of the three of us, who are the couple you think you're thinking of?
Well, obviously me.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's a fun time. I'm just glad to be included. What a summer, though. We're getting kind of like this whiplash of movies that aren't doing well, movies that are all of a sudden coming out with like big hits, you know?
Yeah.
Ed was talking about how, Despicable Me can come out and it's really going to like, you know, change the hierarchy of the blah, da, 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 da. Yeah. And I just don't know that anything is going to be as hot as
the Gentleminions.
No, as Inside Out 2.
Oh yeah,
you're right though. Maybe the big meme of it all last time is what really drove those numbers.
Yeah,
and maybe not so much this time.
They're not doing it again. They're not coming back. Even though in the marketing they were only putting the Minions out there. Like there was barely any Gru or the little kids. Like I don't know. I thought this was a Minions 3 movie.
No, that's exactly what they're doing.
It's gonna make some money. It's 146 now. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is at 3 with 169. So it could surpass that. Really, I'm surprised about how high up Bad Boys and If. But let's go down the list. Number 10 is The Strangers at 35. I'm gonna just say 35, and that's a million. All right, everybody. Just I don't want to be slowing us down.
We got you
by saying a million every time.
You're slowing us down now.
You're right. The Strangers Chapter 135. Number 9, Furiosa Mad Max, 67. 8, Garfield, 91. Number 7, Fall Guy at 92. Quiet Place, number 99. Number 5, If. Can you believe If is at 110?
No.
Jeez, I did not expect this movie to be at the position it's in.
Yeah.
Have you seen If?
No.
I've seen it. Can you believe it?
Why?
It was like, it was with family and they were just like, let's throw on a movie. And so this is the
like at home you watched it?
Yeah.
Wow. You guys like to do that. You talk about the Duffs, like you guys like to do that, don't you? Like y'all will rent a movie that's still in theaters, and I think that's fucking dope as shit. Because Yeah, you know what? Because it's a lot of you all in the same room. So first off, the cost of whatever, even if it's like $30, the cost is worth it because it's all of you, and you can have it. You're renting it, so you get it for like 48 hours. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So
I think that was the conversation we had at the house. They're like,
is it?
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, but it's cheaper than going to the movies. So.
100% is. And then you have your own snacks and drinks and pause and bathroom. I mean, come on. No, that's a deal.
Right.
If it was just me, I would have to be like, I don't know, $30 if I'm not watching If, you know what I mean?
No.
But I with all of you together, I could see that being a pretty good deal.
It was
that's a thumbs up.
I don't recommend it. How about that?
I'm not gonna. Okay, cool.
It's like the tone is weird and it's like kind of sad and it has a dumb ending, I think. Number 4, Despicable Me 4 at 146. Kingdom of the Planet Apes at 169. Bad Boys Ride or Die, another movie I didn't expect to do. It's not even on my list. And this thing's at 179 million.
Yeah. Yep. One of the things I said is going to check the temperature. Is Will Smith profitable? And he is enough. You know what I mean? That draws people to theaters.
He is enough. Not yes or no. Just enough.
I don't know. I didn't really like walk away from that big buzz of that movie, hearing people talk about Will Smith is so fucking good. I didn't hear any of that talk. It was just a lot of people went and saw that movie and it made a lot of money. It was like a mini event. It kind of happened. Like I think it came out swinging. I mean, it's at number 2. It's pretty crazy. It'll shift down.
Yeah, and then Inside Out 2 is at $543 million.
I don't see that one leaving top 3. I think that's going to stay in the top 3 the rest of the summer.
I agree. I mean, the second one is at 179 million. Then Inside Out is at 543 million. I mean, that's just a crazy gap. So let's just take it from number 2, 179, and then number 10 has 35 million.
What a fucking summer!
It is such a huge gap in between 10 and 2, and then 2 and 1. It's just insane. So next week, I don't know what movie comes out in July. Is it Twisters?
Twisters has to be the next one. I think.
Twisters. Are you excited for Twisters?
Yeah, and it's getting good word of mouth. So
good. I think it's a guy who directed Minari, and it was a good movie. So I feel like this is going to be also good.
Yeah, I think this one is. I personally want it to be top 3. That's where I have it on my list. But I do think it can be that good. I think it could be one of the event movies of the summer. I think because Inside Out did so well, I think that's going to be a tough one for Twisters to make the top 3.
Top 5
because
could be a top
5. Yeah, I mean, I think Deadpool is. We've talked about it before. Is tracking to earn like $200 million domestic opening weekend.
Yeah, so I mean, that's more than number 2 has right now.
If that happens, then that's definitely going to shift the 2 biggest movies down. And it's just like, I don't know if Twisters is going to make it, but I really want it to. Glenn Powell is hot right now. People like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm excited. I'm going to go see it.
You're going to see it?
Hell yeah. I'm going to see Twisters. Good. I'm going to take the whole fam.
Yeah, maybe I should go see Twisters this weekend too. Will you see Twisters? Let us know down in the comments down below.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
That's it for the news and updates. Now it's time to go our feature discussion, which is we're just going to chill. Miguel, you had this question.
I do. So it's kind of in the we can talk about this now, but it's really just like
I see. Vibes is just like a section like let's just kind of chill for a bit, but
yeah. And here we are, we're vibing.
This is good.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
Thank you for asking me. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you too. I've become a Sierra Nevada fan. Okay.
Whoa.
I don't love mixed packs of IPAs because they tend to lean really juicy. Okay. And I don't always like those, but I will say this: Sierra Nevada's, and we're not sponsored by them. They should sponsor us. Okay. The Sierra Nevada multi-pack of IPAs. It comes with a few different ones. I think I have some of them here. It's they have.
You love a multi-pack though. You complain about multi-packs, but you get them quite often.
Well, I get them because I want to try, but I don't necessarily get that pack again. But I've gotten this pack multiple times, and when I see this pack, I grab it immediately. But it's got the juicy little thing. Okay. It also has the hazy little thing, which is like I feel like the number 1 IPA from Sierra Nevada. They've got this new one called the Dank little thing IPA, which I cracked it open and I was with my wife. I said, "Here, smell this beer real quick," and it smells like weed.
No
it
way.
Is like, I swear to God, like if I cracked it right now, you could smell it.
It
is very dank. And it has one other one, tropical something or another, and it's just a really good.
You like Sierra Nevada?
I really like it. I do like Sierra Nevada, and shout out to, she's not listening, but I went to high school with a girl named Jenna, who now works for Sierra Nevada. And next time I'm in that area, I'm going to hit her up and be like, I want a tour of this place. You know what I mean? Because I love this beer. I love it. What are you drinking?
Well, I was a fool and I'm out of alcohol. So I'm drinking a LaCroix.
That's beautiful, baby.
I used to never like to drink LaCroix. I was totally against them. And then I went to an Airbnb and they had tangerine LaCroix and it was so hot outside. So I cracked it open. I was like, why not? Let's give it a try. And that was it. That's what turned me over. Now I'm willing to try a couple things. I think the citrusy flavors do better with mineral water. You got the pamplemousse, you got tangerine, you got lime. You know, these are good ones. If you start introducing like strawberry or like berry or, you know, blueberry, I don't know. It's not great. You know, it just kind of tastes a little too sweet and weird. I think the citrusness already has that like effervescent refreshness and smell that kind of pairs well with carbonation. I know there are other brands like Bubbly and these things. But for some reason, I don't know if it's the marketing or I don't know if it's just in my head, but the LaCroix is just,
boy.
Yeah, it's like everything falls a little flat. It doesn't feel as bubbly or the taste doesn't really, you know, click in correctly. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Not sponsored, but LaCroix, hit us up. We will sponsor you. In fact, we'll take anybody. You know, you have a small business, we'll sponsor you. We'll only talk about your business for
for like 5 minutes. We'll do it. Like, please.
You have a website or an agency? Hit us up. We'll talk about it.
We should. I just finished Ted Lasso. Spoiler alert! I'm going to talk about the last episode of Ted Lasso just really quickly. At the end of the show, the owner of the team is like, I could sell and make $2 billion, or I could sell like half of it and keep control over it, and I could stay. And at the very end, she decides to sell the 49% of the team to the fans. You know what I mean? So the fans can be a part of the ownership of the team. Right. And I'm saying that because, guys, you fellow listeners, okay? You guys could be a part of our podcast. All you have to do is sponsor. Venmo us just a little bit of money, and we'll throw your name on this podcast, okay? We'll do it. We'll be like fucking, you know what I mean? Darian Hunt presents Punch Drunk Nerd.
Punch Drunk Nerd,
like, we got you guys, okay?
Yeah. We'll change the thumbnail art on our podcast. It'll say Steven Escobar presents Punch Drunk Nerd, you know?
Boom. Done. You want to name any other people that are listening to the Sarah Meyer presents?
Yeah. Hit us up. Hit it. Eric Jew presents Punch Drunk Nerd.
We can do it. We keep going.
Hit us up at Punch Drunk Nerd on Instagram. It is our hottest social media. Do not go to Twitter. We have 2 followers there. And we have more followers on Threads because it just kind of forced you to if you followed us on Instagram.
We have a good time.
We're having a good time. We're laughing. We're joking around. Let's move on to our next section. We can talk about this now.
Let's talk about it now.
Yeah. Miguel, what do you want to talk about?
Hey, so I was coming across something today, and I hopped onto the PlayStation, and I love the PlayStation has this feature where you'll scroll to whatever game you have in the bar or your library or whatever, and it'll tell you the amount of hours you've played this game. Okay?
Yes.
And listen, I'm not normally so data driven, but something about that just like sparked something in me. And I said, hang on a second. So I went through a lot of my library and I clicked on games that I know that I've played a lot. Like I didn't go through every single game and check every single number, but I was like, these are the big ones. And I made like a little list. And I was surprised at the amount of hours I put into some games and the overall amount of hours I collected just from this list. on how many hours I've played video games.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of want to talk about that in a second. But one of the things I posed to you was, if you could, and if you don't, that's okay. But I'm curious, and to the listeners as well, I'm curious to know, on your PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, your PC, wherever it tells you how long you've played a video game, how many hours have you put into like your longest game? You know,
okay.
What's the game you played a lot?
It's on my Switch and not on my PlayStation.
That's great. Let me hear it.
Okay. The game I played the most on my PlayStation is Fortnite.
Yeah, it is.
For 625 hours or more.
Okay. You're making me feel better about my numbers. That's good.
Okay. That's good. I know people like way over that for sure, but 625 hours, and then I started to switch over to the PlayStation, and then I think I have 25 or whatever on there that I've updated.
That's interesting you say that. Of this whole list, it's mostly PlayStation, but I did for Red Dead Redemption. I mainly played Red Dead Redemption 2 on Xbox, and I played it a lot. So I have a less number of hours on the PlayStation, so I combined both those for this number. But Fortnite was the one that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Just to start, because I just started playing this game within the last year. I think December of last year, I played my first match right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And since then, I played it pretty regularly. I've put in 119 hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Which is not as impressive as your 600, but you've also played Fortnite for, I'm assuming, years.
I played it for a couple years. Yeah. I became obsessive with it, where it was just like I went to the bathroom, played Fortnite. Had a second, played Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
All those quests really get me going, where it's like, fuck, I just need 30 more minutes and I can get, another 1,000 XP or 10,000 or whatever it is, so I can level up. Because, I think they had some cool, like, but like level 100 skins that I would be willing to fight for. Like, they had the Mandalorian as the last, no, was the Mandalorian or it was Baby Yoda? Whatever. They were typically cool, No,
I know.
I guess
and
Peter Griffin was cool. I just didn't get that one. So.
You really kind of put me onto it. I get the skins through the battle pass, but when it's like a special skin that I earn, then I feel kind of like, ooh, I like that guy. Like I got Magneto because they came out with Magneto as one of the bonus skins this season. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm only going to play Magneto because I was so excited.
Can you still get that, or was it a limited time?
No, it's still going on right now. It's a part of this. It's a part of like the bonus of this current season.
They always do like a middle of the year type of like bonus.
Yeah. And so I think it'll hang out until this season is done.
Right. Okay.
So you can get them now. But let me ask you this: Fortnite. This podcast is now just for you and me. Okay, this isn't for anyone else. Sorry, everyone else. What's your account level for overall Fortnite? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know how do I check that out? Actually.
I don't know on the Switch, but on the PlayStation, you can go to career and you can filter whatever, and then it'll pull up your stats. And I think my account level is like 242 levels or something like that.
So what does that mean? Like your lifetime?
Yes.
Like
so your season level will always be at the top of your screen, right? Like I've got 77 for this season, but my overall account age is like 240 something levels. I thought I was doing good. I didn't realize 600 hours.
Like I said, I put in the work, and it's weird that we like missed each other at the time of playing Fortnite. Miguel, I have a question.
I know.
Do you like playing singles, or do you like teaming up with people? Like, what is your preferred way of playing?
I'm only playing by myself, so
But have you ever like squatted up with like random people?
I kind of am scared to go with random people because I feel like, what if they're better than me? And then and then I'm holding everyone back. Well,
there are some quests where you kind of have to like.
Yeah, and they're really pushing like that reloaded whatever team up right now.
Yeah.
And listen, I'd love to. I kind of try to put out feelers for people that I know that maybe play Fortnite. But I guess like playing with strangers is just something I haven't done yet, But maybe I will. I used to hate, and I'm gonna talk about this in a second a little bit more. But I used to hate the idea of online multiplayer games, and now I'm like addicted to it. So I just gotta like expand my horizons a little bit. Can I run through? I'm not gonna give you this whole list.
Oh yeah.
But can I just like run through some of these?
Yeah, please.
So. This kind of blows my mind because, like, Uncharted 4, all right, what a big game. What a big series. I only have 28 hours in that game. I've played it all the way through once, and then I've started it multiple times, but just, had to restart it. So it took me a while to kind of get into that game. But so it's only 28 hours. And it feels like I played that game a lot. And it's like, that's actually not that much for a game. Guess how, okay, Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. Remember those PlayStation games that I talked about forever? Guess how many hours in it? Spider-Man 1.
42.
88 hours. Okay? I replayed that game a lot. Spider-Man 2, ask me that one. Or give me a guess.
65.
Ooh, 51. So as much as I talked about Spider-Man 2, I didn't put in the time. But a lot of these games, what blew my mind is a lot of these games are like single player story games, which you kind of only play once and you walk away from.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that Fortnite is like a really high game.
You jump and go. I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like Last of Us Part 1 and 2. Last of Us Part 2, I played for 103 hours. Part 1, 132 hours.
Wait. Part 2, 100 hours, you said?
A little over 100 for Part 2.
132 for Part 1?
For Part 1, yeah.
Wow.
Like I played Part 1 a lot, especially leading up to Part 2. GTA 5. Guess how many hours I got in that one? And this is not even crazy numbers. This is just I work. I'm an adult. I have a child.
Yeah. I mean 95 hours?
178 hours.
178. Okay.
Yeah.
I got that game. I should play that. I got to play that game soon.
You got it because that new one's going to come out eventually. Surprisingly, these are the top 3 games that I have. So GTA 5 is the number 3 at 178. The number 2 game, Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Whoa. Okay.
Bro, right? Isn't that kind of wild?
That is wild.
So some of these games, I've played them so much because I also played them on the PS4. And I had the PS4 like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? When I first got it.
So it carries through.
So it kind of, So, and over the years, I've replayed these games a lot. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, that's the pirate game. Okay?
Yeah.
201 hours.
Whoa. Wait, so you know that game inside out? Like if someone played like the music or a sound effect, you'd be like,
oh yeah. Sure, there are some things that I would be able to tell, but it's such a big game. Assassin's Creed games in general, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey is also on my list. I've only played that game one time through. That was 65 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Assassin's Creed games are long. My number one game, I'm going to tell you the hours first. Okay. My number one game, 378 hours. This is a single player story driven game. Okay.
Wow.
378 hours. You got to guess?
Is it a new game or an old game?
It would have come out in like 2014, I think is when it came out.
GTA?
Maybe a little sooner.
Is it GTA? Is it
no.
GTA?
No, GTA was 3.
No, I don't know what it is.
It's from the Batman series.
Arkham Asylum?
Arkham Knight. The
Arkham
third
Knight.
One. Yes, dude. 378 hours. I have replayed that game like 8 times.
Wow, Miguel, you really like. Okay, so I guess I should because I finished the first one. I got to continue on in the next series
because that's our difference. Like I went through a phase like where, like I said, I was not ever playing online multiplayer games, and so if I wanted to play a game, hey, I already bought this game. I'm just going to play it because I already have it. And it's fun for a reason, you know. I put in so many hours into this game. I pre-ordered that game with the whole DLC, the season pass and everything. It was like $80 back when games weren't $80.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like I got my money's worth out of that game. 378 hours.
Yeah, you did. That's crazy. I gotta play this game. I gotta. You know, I like the first one. Speaking of Batman, real quick. Like, can I just take a little tangent?
Let's do it.
I don't want to take away from your 300 hours because that's incredible. That's amazing.
No, I just thought that was insanely stupid.
It is insane. Steven came over to my place and we put on Gotham Knights. Well, first I played Fortnite. And he was like, how does Fortnite work? So then I played like a couple rounds and I was like, this is what you got to do. You got to collect ammo. Then you got to run here and you got to shield up and then pop.
Yeah.
So we did that for a bit. And then somehow we got to the conversation of like Gotham Knights. I have that game. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. We get into it and the opening story takes so long
it does.
that we were like, we just turned it off because we were already interested in watching something else.
We
were like talking about the show Harley Quinn, and we thought about how funny it was. It's like, oh man, this show is hilarious. And then he brought up some references. And I was like, you know what, dude? Do you just want to put on that episode right now? And it just kept going. And that's the one thing I hate about video games is these long ass intros. Let me get in there and let me start playing. I don't have time to sit through this whole introduction. If you can't tell your story concisely at the beginning, then there's a problem.
I'm going to be real honest. I am a believer, and this isn't, I don't know why I'm saying, like, you're not going to be like, what?
Yeah.
I love skipping cutscenes, okay?
Yes.
I will hold down circle all day long, okay?
Yeah.
Let me skip this bitch. I don't care if it's the first time I've played this game. I get the gist. I just want to play the game. It's not a movie or a TV show. It's something that I'm actively supposed to be doing. Why are you keeping me from that? You know what I mean? And sometimes it's like, this isn't that compelling of a story. You know what I mean? Like, no offense, but just like, I just want to play the game, you know?
Yeah, it's a situation where if I make it longer, it'll be more prestigious. You know what I mean? It'll be more taken more seriously. But
does it? You know? Can I tell you, I've actually played a little bit of that game. I got past the opening.
I got to the part where like they're at the funeral, and then I was like, okay.
Yeah. I picked my character. I started the game over because I didn't like my first character. I think I was originally Batgirl, and then I changed to Red Hood, or maybe I was Robin, and then I changed to Red Hood. I don't remember.
Red Hood has the little powers, right? He can like jump around and fly.
Well, don't worry, I didn't get to any fucking one of those. I was in that game for maybe 20 minutes. The gameplay is super boring. It's not compelling whatsoever. You're grappling. You know what I mean? Like the traversal is super slow and uninteresting. And it's just like, okay, I guess I'm over here now. They give you those like motorcycles right away, and you get them and they're boring as shit. You're like, okay, I guess. And can I say something also? Can we go on a quick little Batman tangent? Can I do one now?
Yes, let's do it.
This is kind of also why like I'm a little concerned about DC and how like DC, like James Gunn's universe right now is like really bringing in all of these like side characters that yada yada yada. I kind of don't give a shit about the Bat family. Like
I don't either.
I just want to be Batman. I just want to see Batman. There are very few times the passing of the baton has ever really meant anything to me at all. Like Miles Morales being the new Spider-Man, I think is like really awesome.
Yeah.
Because he's also a compelling character, you know? Oh, I'm about to ruffle some feathers, I think. But like I just don't find the Bat family all that interesting. I grew up with Batman and Robin. Dick Grayson grew up to be Nightwing, and then I guess later he became Batman for a little bit. And that's about it for me. Terry McGinnis was Batman Beyond. That's about as much as I'm interested in, because
that's passing the baton.
That's passing the baton. And all these other characters are, I just no.
Like the people argue that it humanizes Batman more because if not, he's like a psycho man. You know,
let him be.
He has a family to care about. I like him as a psycho. I like him as a crazy guy. Like that's what I'm here for. All right, I'm surrounded by sane people. I'd like to read about this insane person that stays up all night, is alone.
Yes.
And, you know, fighting crime, and he's clever about it. Like I don't need support. I don't want to be like, don't worry, Batman, I got you. No, I don't want somebody to get him. You figure it out, Batman.
Listen, I think the introduction of Robin is kind of as far as I want to go with Batman. You know, like let him kind of feel that sense of like, and Matt Reeves is Batman when he sees the mayor's kid in the crime scene.
Yeah,
like he kind of looks at him, kind of like, oh shit, like I've been through this too, and I think that's relatable, right? Like, and that's growth for his character. Right. But this whole like, oh my God, there's 5, 6, 7, 8 other people that you have to give a shit about, and they're all doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and they all take up the mantle of yada yada yada. No.
Yeah, I don't ever see him being like, you know what, you can work next to me. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a Robin situation that works, except outside, like for comedy reasons. You know, there's a Robin in Harley Quinn, and he's hilarious because he's like a child, and Batman is like acting like a father to him, and it's funny. But I never am able to take it seriously when there's a Robin or White. One of the Robins is his son, his actual son.
Yeah, Damian,
yeah.
And it's just I don't care about that either.
Apparently Damian's really good at fighting because he grew up with the League of Shadows.
That's right. That's right. That's the Batman and Robin we're going to get with Brave and the Bold, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yeah.
For James Gunn's Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to see those shitty suits. Yeah. So no, I just wanted to talk about video game hours because I'm a nerd about that, I guess, and that's what we do. We nerd out about things.
Okay, how about this? I have another question. I'm curious, but go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
I just want to say, for listeners, I'm curious to hear your longest games and the hours you put into game. Oh, I'm sorry, just to put a button on this real quick. Bop, bop, bop.
I'm gonna unbutton it for a little bit, just so you know.
Oh, so do you want me to do it now? I just want to tell you my hours, my overall total, real quick.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
I compiled some data. So I counted up all of these hours, and just a little side note, this is just PlayStation games that came out from the PS4 to today. Okay. And so it's not a complete list of every game I've ever played and all the hours I put in, which I would love to see. But totaling up this list, I came out to 2,199 hours of gameplay, which is approximately 92 days of my life, 24-hour days.
Oh, 92 days?
Yeah, playing video games.
That's a quarter. Like, that's a quarter of the year.
That's a lot.
Like, Q1, I'm staying up all day playing
forever.
Games.
Playing these games. Yeah. No, I couldn't believe when I put it all together in this list, I was like, oh my God. Believe it or not, I don't play video games all that much. I get my tiny little time at the very end of the day to do a couple of rounds of Fortnite, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to tell you that real quick.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I have anything close to that.
I don't know. You have 600 hours of Fortnite, so.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to see. Okay, screen time. I want to see because I play this game Marvel Snap a lot too, and I want to see how much I play that. Settings, and then screen time. I turn that shit off. They never tell me how much screen time I have. Apps and website. No. How do I do this? Apps and website activity.
There you go.
Turn on app and website activity. What happens when I do? I don't want weekly reports. I don't want screen time schedule. Oh, fuck it. Who knows? I play Marvel Snap a lot too. Okay, that's good. Video games. We covered everything. Shut it down. Shut down IGN. Shut down Game Radar. Shut down Kotaku. Shut down GameSpot. We covered everything you need to know about video games.
Guys, thanks for listening.
What else did you want to talk about?
Nothing else. This was a dumb. I was putting in fillers in case this first topic didn't go as long as it did. Let's get into what we're into.
Well, actually, I have something to say about this because you said waiters writing down your order. Just one little thing I wanted to bring up. I've been on an airplane lately a couple times this year, and I've been doing this thing where they come up to me and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, what would you like to drink?"
Sure.
And then I say, "I'd like a Coca-Cola, please." And they're like, "A what?" "A Coca-Cola, please." "Oh, a Coke." "Okay, got it." And I've gotten that from multiple people. And I don't know if now I'm doing it as an experiment. I want to see like if this continues going. So everywhere I'm going to go, even at restaurants, I'm going to say I'd like a Coca-Cola.
Do you say Coca-Cola, please? Or do you say Coca-Cola? I guess
remember.
Either way. When you said please just now, you said like Coca-Cola, please. It was like ka 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 ka. And it was just
like a Coca-Cola, please.
And you also have to remember, I don't know about you, but when I get into plane immediately, this even if my ears aren't plugged up, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's loud. It's like there's a lot of like white noise happening.
They're like, what possibly could you be saying with all those words? Like Coca-Cola, please. Like if they're just seeing my mouth move and they're like, what drink is that?
Damn,
they probably they could mouth read.
Racist. Yeah.
What do you mean? They could mouth read?
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying like if they were just like hearing your like Spanish accent.
No, I think that's not what I mean. I just mean that they can't hear me because of the plane.
And also, okay, well, first off, and I feel like Ed struggles with this on some things too, kind of a similar sense where he'll be like, "I'd like a water," and he'll say it in his accent, and they'll be like, "Huh?" And then he'll hit it with like a water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't make that face. Don't make that sound.
I'd like to tuck into some water.
My go-to on the plane is I fly Southwest, which is unfortunately
I do too.
Now it's bottom tier now, so please don't come for me for that. But I point to the picture, dude. I get it, and I go, I would like a Coke if I say Coke, but I'm going to point to it so that they're looking at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not ordering a Coke either. It's usually like, let me get a Moscow Mule.
I get it.
What IPAs do you have on draft? No, I try to limit the talking as much as possible. If we're going to talk about the waiter thing for just a second, I've had this happen. If we're talking about recent things, I've had this happen a couple times for me. So when I go out to a restaurant, if I'm leaving the house to go pick up dinner at from a restaurant, not just like fast food.
Yeah.
I'm going to use Chewy's as an example. Okay. The Mexican restaurant Chewy's. If I'm leaving to go pick that up, it's because I'm getting dinner for me, my wife, my son, and we're probably going to get an appetizer. Right.
Yeah.
And I might get something on the side, like give me some extra tortillas or whatever. So I've got the appetizer, the meals, and then maybe a special little treat. Okay. Yeah. I can't stand, and I don't mean any disrespect to waiters or servers out there. Okay. But I cannot stand when I go, I'd like to place an order to go, and they go, okay. And they just look at me, and they're not grabbing a pen or pencil or anything. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just so you know, I'm ordering a lot. And they go, yeah, I'm ready. Okay. So then I tried, and I already am trying to organize it as clearly as possible so that when I say it, it's not like I'm jumping around a whole bunch.
Yeah.
I'm keeping in mind like the menu. So I'm just like trying to go down top to bottom. So if that's how they see it in their head, then at least like I'm being clear.
That's so nice of you. Yeah.
I'm trying.
You're doing all the pre-work for them a little.
I'm trying, dude. But then they take it all in, and then they walk away to the computer, and every time they look back and they go, what did you want?
Oh my God.
Okay. I really wanted you to just write it down. Yeah. I had a server tonight. The only reason I typed this up because I was at Chewy's ordering dinner tonight. And I told her, I said, hey, I'd like to place an order to go. She's like, okay, because it's just me, so they're thinking it's just one person. And I go, I'm gonna order a lot. And she goes, oh, let me go grab my pen and paper. I was like, let's fucking go. Thank you. She comes back. I spit it all out. She's writing it all down. She reads it back to me, and it's boom, 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 boom. Perfect. Everything.
That's a good waiter.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. She goes, she types it in, she walks up, and it was super crowded. They were really busy tonight. You know, I'm not complaining. She comes back with my food. She's really cheery about it. She's like, I got your food. Here it is. Boom. This is nothing against her. I do this all the time. I always check my bag before I leave because I don't know about you. I don't want to come home and find out that my wife's dinner is not correct.
Yes, you know that's definitely happened a lot of times.
Or that my son's meal was the mixed up meal because he's not going to eat it, and then I paid for it. You know what I mean? So I just like to double check and make sure everything's good. And when I saw it, she didn't put the queso in. I said, I said, hey, real quick, like I didn't get that queso, and I looked at the receipt. She didn't even type it in on the computer initially, which kind of blew my mind because she wrote it down. She left. She came back. The other thing I asked for was a little side of tortillas because my son likes to nibble on tortillas. So I was like, oh man, I'm so sorry, but you also didn't get these tortillas. So now I've had to correct her twice, and I feel like such an asshole. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do that. And if it was my food, I would have just been like, it's no big deal. I'm just going to leave it be.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to give these people what they asked for. And I'm like, she was super apologetic. It was no big deal. Okay. She gave me a thing for free. Like it was no big deal. But is it on you right now?
Yeah, it's on my forehead.
You're getting Mike Pence right now. Flick it off. It's freaking me out. Flick it. Oh my God, eat it.
No, I've caught flies. Just to the listeners at home, a fly landed on my forehead. That was the drama. Anyway, so go ahead.
Why am I feel like such a boomer right now. Like, why am I complaining about this? Like, I was not trying to be mean at all about it. I was just in general, like, I was so excited because she was going to write it down. And it's just ended up, it was still a little bit of a mess, but it's no big deal. Do you ever struggle with that where they just start, do you feel a type of way when they don't write down your order? Do you think it's cool?
Well, the thing is I usually order. I don't think it's cool.
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. First off, they're crouching by your table like they're your friend. You know what I mean? They're like, tell me what you want. You know what I mean? No, let me guess.
No, you know what I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say. You order online.
Yeah, I do.
And an app. The only reason I didn't do that is because I feel like certain apps, certain restaurants, there's an upcharge when you order online.
What?
Sometimes by like $1 or more. And Chewy's online for sure does it. Sometimes when you order through like Uber Eats, they're also doing it.
They plus it up, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes it's easier just to go in person and have them type it in because you're saving with all of our meals together. Like I could save like $10, $12.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why I like to do that. I do think the convenience of ordering online, it's like, hey, I gave you all of the information. Like here it is. Like you know.
I know, and they forget sometimes, or they don't put the sour cream when you asked for it, you know. But it's fine.
We're super chill. It's laid back.
We tip 25%, on everything. Takeout, I'm giving you 25%. Not true. So that's the episode. We can talk about this now. We're going to move on to what we're into. Listen, what we're into, we're both into it. House of the Dragon. That wasn't on our list, but I feel like we got to talk about it, right?
I forgot
to big episode.
It's so good. It was a big episode. We probably should have just talked about this for 45 minutes. I don't know why we talked about it.
That should have been the featured discussion was House of the Dragon.
We should have just talked about that. That's our bad. Eric, this is for you, man. We watched House of Dragon. Okay. And I'm not going to call it The Dragon. Okay. I'm going to drop the. All right.
House of. Okay.
What an episode. Okay. Definitely a supercharged one of the season. My boss, he told me a while back that he did not get into Game of Thrones. He watched it for like 3 seasons and it was like, it's just not for me. I couldn't get into it. I'm like, for 3 seasons, you kind of got into it. But he loves House of the Dragon. And I was like, okay, dude, did you watch this last episode? He goes, oh, I only ever saw like most of season 1. And I was like, okay, you got to go and like watch the show that you said you like.
Yeah,
okay?
Seriously, yeah.
Like, and it's really good this season. It's gotten really good. I kind of went on a tangent. This episode was amazing. I thought it was a lot of fun. I kind of wish Steven was here to talk about it too, because he could kind of break down some of these intricacies of it all. That I'm sure I'm missing a million things, but I had a great time. I was on the edge of my seat for the last half of the episode.
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
Yeah, it feels like this whole season, even last season, like we were ramping up to things, and this is like another like pivotal moment. Obviously, the last 30 minutes, I was on the edge of my seat. I know Ed was as well. He was panicking about it. I think, Sarah, she reads the spoilers beforehand because she doesn't want to be blindsided by any like unfortunate deaths. So when that scene showed up, when they were about to, get to the castle or Dragonstone. She's like, all right, I'm out. And because it was really sad. I think they purposely crafted it where there's that look from the dragon in her and they held on that beat. I was like, you guys know what you're doing. Like, you clearly
Aemond and Vhagar we've seen enough, but we saw Sunfire, which is Aegon's dragon. And
they were like bros. He was like, all right, bro, let's go.
And what's the queen that never was? Her Rhaenyra's dragon.
Meleys?
Yeah, right?
Meleys, yeah.
We've seen her. We've seen that dragon a couple times. But this was kind of like episodes where they gave you moments with each of these dragons before the big battle. Yes. So that was super helpful in making you feel feelings for these CGI fake ass animals. Because like every time something happened to either one of these dragons, you were like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like Kristen was getting choked up about it. And I'm like, damn, because I mean, there's even when Aegon is getting on his dragon for the first time, like the dragon, he like nudges them like a cat, or a dog. And Meleys and Rhaenyra, like they've had a bond for a long time. And they have a shot where they look at each other before they go into battle. They look at each other a lot during the battle.
They have a real strong connection, those two.
And it's just like, oh man, like, yeah, when you feel like you have a bond that's like kind of unspeakable, you can't, you cannot communicate in normal words with each other, but they were conveying so much. I can't believe I'm about to say this. In Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. They do so many scenes with no dialogue with the apes, with Godzilla, with this and that, where they're conveying all this dialogue with no words. That's such a shitty example, but that's the same thing. It's also, so I'm so sorry, House of Dragon. That's the same thing that's happening there. Like they're doing such a great job of conveying these emotions with just looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't believe how invested
the dragons have eyebrows. You can see them furrow it and like thinking and opening.
And the noises they make too when they're in pain. You're like, oh man.
I'll tell you what, outside of all the sadness that happened, I think one of the cool things that we got to see is dragon tactics. There was a moment when Rhaenyra's son, I forget his name, Jacaerys.
Yes.
Hell
Rhaenyra, yeah.
Rhaenyra's, yeah.
You said now hang on. Rhaenyra is the older lady.
No. Rhaenyra is Rhaenyra. She's the queen, and then
what's
Rhaena.
The older lady?
Is her name Rhaena?
No, that's not right.
Fuck.
Get Steven on the phone.
Should I call him?
Do it.
Okay.
Dude, a couple of special guests this episode, except Ed didn't answer the fucking phone.
Let's see if Steven answers. Okay. Steven. Why aren't you popping up immediately?
Okay. I already know he's gonna laugh. You know what I mean? He's gonna have that Steven Escobar laugh.
Oh, speaker.
You gotta tell him he's on the pod.
He has a British voicemail too.
I'll smack him.
He's like, I want to be like Ed.
Oh man.
He may not answer.
We're 2 for 2 tonight.
I know. Who can we call? House of the Dragon. They were talking about Dragon. So Jaceres and
your call has been
okay.
Your call has been forwarded.
I couldn't believe that. I never heard of a British voicemail before. House of the Dragon. Yeah, they were talking about dragon tactics, and he was like, "Let me go out there." And she's like, "You've never like fought in a war before. You have no idea what it's like." And what we've seen of dragons so far is just them flying and then shooting fire out of their mouth, like it's just spray shoot. And here, you actually got to see them fight and use tactics like bumping up from underneath. And you got to see how King Aemon has no idea. King Aegon had no idea what he was doing. Yeah, him or the dragon, they were completely befuddled.
Which that's where you kind of go, oh, not the dragon. You know, I know. Like, it's not the dragon's fault, man. They had the whole bit where he couldn't speak Valyrian, and if you notice, like they all speak Valyrian to the dragons except for him.
Yeah. But then when they were going up against Vhagar, I was like, how are you going to fight against Vhagar? And I think this Mealy's that dragon really did put up a good fight.
So that's what one thing I was gonna say to tack onto your point is like she was battle ready. You know what I mean? Like they had done it before. She said we're gonna do another.
She knew where to strike. She knew where to land. Yeah. She knew all the little like hot spots to hit.
Both of them, and which is also such great character development for her because it's like she was the queen that never was. You know what I mean? She was also passed over. That's kind of been her position this entire time. I really love her character, and giving that guidance. And wanting to make decisions, but also like if you remember in season 1 where she bursts through the floor and she doesn't burn the house black, right? She decides, she gives him a look and she flies away. And later she goes, it's because it wasn't my place to start the war. You know what I mean? Like she has been around long enough that she's wise. She knows how to do things. And same with this dragon battle. She was like, we're gonna show up and show out. Let's go.
I feel like in the last 2 episodes too, they did a really good job of, because she's a badass and she's like very strong and she's kind of holding this council together. And I'm like, wow, she's incredible. Like we all want to aspire to be her. And then you have these tender moments, these vulnerable moments where she goes to Corlys,
her husband,
Corlys, and she's like, listen. She kind of like drops her shoulders, looks a little bit more friendly to them. It's like, I need help. Like this is tough out there. And it was nice to see a little bit of that vulnerability and humanity, and just like, wow, it just makes her more into a 3-dimensional character that I don't see. Because you could totally just keep her as this like strong badass person taking down people with quips. You know what I mean? If you were the king, you know, all of these things. But no, she's like, she needs
real
support
person.
As well. You know?
Yes.
And it was nice seeing their relationship.
Alicent in that episode, I think it was after the little boy gets killed at the end of that one episode. Alicent is talking to her daughter, the mother of that boy. And she's also kind of having real emotions, and that, you know, she's trying to guide this young woman, but also feeling her own feelings. You know what I mean? Like, I just think like some of these characters, a lot of these characters are super compelling. But Rhaenyra, the older Rhaena, the queen that never was. I love
the queen that never was
so much. She is so good. That actress is so good. And I can't wait to see more from her. Period.
It's a shame. Pour one out for her, and good call out on that. It's one scene with the whole Valerian thing, because that was really funny, and that really told a lot of just like,
oh man,
we will want to war, you know, something like, I think that was the line.
I love the council. I love his council more than I like Rhaenyra's council. You know,
I want to talk about that in a second.
They're very much like, okay, like we know how it is, and especially like we know like the mad Targaryen comes eventually, who like burns people for disagreeing with them. So there's this kind of sense of like they know their place. They're not gonna speak up but they're not quiet either in their body language and their facial expressions. Like they're kind of telling you something. And so I don't know if they all speak Valyrian, but they could all understand what was happening.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
And it's humbling on two fronts. One, that they had to take this to the side and have another language. And two, you can see the way that he responds back in a like sure way.
Yeah. Especially after he's already been like, he had his like Joffrey Baratheon moment where he's like, I am the king, you know? Yeah. And everyone's like, okay, man.
Steven brought up a good point when we were watching, and then I followed up on it with another good point. He said how like the council wanted just to kick Aegon out. It's like, dude, we don't need you. You can leave. Like that's the whole thing, is that things are getting worse because he's around. And then kind of the opposite on Dragonstone. Where the council doesn't have her, and they need her because they're falling apart because there is no guidance. Everyone is kind of bickering, and so you get to see these two different sides of councils being played out.
One council is a sure thing, right? Like they have King's Landing. He is the king. The Seven Kingdoms are accepting of this, basically. And Rhaenyra's council is like, we are kind of traitors right now.
Yeah.
And we need this to be a big success.
We need to change the narrative especially because the child killer or whatever it was.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Like, it's not looking good right now.
They need to spin this, as they're
desperate in a way that the other council's not.
And then Stephen brought up another good point. If they sent out multiple dragons, not to attack Vhagar, but to split his attention, he can't be in two places at once. And that's a great way of dealing with like a big antagonist. They do this all the time with Superman, you know, with villains that are super powerful. They'll have a hostage and they'll be like, what's it going to be? Me or the hostage? And you can't choose both. And that's how you kind of like prolong this fight. It's the same situation. If you have one dragon going to King's Landing, and you just burn that up, Vhagar's going to go back, or once he leaves, then the other dragons can burn up Cole's army. Mm-hmm. You know, so I was like, that's brilliant.
I love that you're like, man, Steven had a really good idea about the show when it's like he's read these books how many times? You know what I mean? He's like, what do you think about the dragons splitting up, huh?
It's coming, huh?
I never thought about that before, Steven.
That happens next episode. Oh, I see, Steven.
Oh, okay. You were just setting me up for that. Okay. No, it's good. It's so helpful to have him on these because it's like
he puts things in perspective.
Yeah. Like I feel like I've watched a ton of Game of Thrones and I could really tell you a lot about that show, but I'm in like that baby stage again with the characters all over. Like I'm so grateful when people put edits together where in Game of Thrones they talk about the Dance of Dragons, or when they talk about these characters. Like Arya and Tywin, like when Tywin first gets Arya and he finds out she's a girl and he kind of like makes her his steward or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like she talks to him about this whole Dance of Dragons. Same with Stannis's daughter. She talks about the Dance of Dragons.
Okay. I've seen that clip go around and he's asking, what are you reading? Like the Dance of the Dragons. And then I have to stop it because I think it's potentially spoils what will happen later in the show, right? Or no?
Yeah. So yeah. I think that's the one specifically that spoils some things.
Yeah.
But it's also just like the way I look at it is it's like this is all history for the bigger Game of Thrones story. Yeah. So it's like this has already happened and it's just gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
But they also do a good job about helping me understand, like when they're talking about characters that are slightly before these characters that we're watching, like Aegon the Conqueror. Like sometimes Game of Thrones would talk about Aegon, and they're not talking about Aegon, our current Aegon, right? It's like, okay, so that gives me perspective. Like I need to kind of understand where we're lying in this story. But the most important thing that you, me, any listener, any watcher of the shows can do is have a friend like Steven Escobar who can tell you all the things you need to know and answer all the questions. I love Steven.
Tune in to House of the Dragon next episode, obviously coming out this Sunday.
I'm looking forward to Sundays again, dude. It's been so long since there's been like a show that I'm like, I can't wait for that next episode to come out. Woo-hoo, I'm having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, House of the Dragon. I'm excited. I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff that's about to come up here. Okay, we got 2 more things we got to talk about.
What we're into, and let's be done with it.
All right, 52 minutes, pretty good. Wait, actually, it might be longer because we had to cancel.
Yeah.
Miguel, what were you into?
Okay, I finally did it. All right, I finished watching Ted Lasso, all 3 seasons. Okay, fucking long episodes, dude. Hour-long episodes. Did I talk about this last week? I was a little drunk by the time we got to this point last week, so that's my bad. But yeah, Ted Lasso, I'm gonna be honest. Everyone seems to really love that show. Ted Lasso is a big favorite. It's like a #1 Apple TV show. Yeah. Okay. And people just could not stop telling me to watch that show and how much I was gonna love it. Guys, I'm gonna give it like a 7.5 out of 10. You know what I mean?
I think that's fair grade.
Right? It's not 10 out of 10 for me.
People got hyped on it. Like there was just like an aura, and everybody got latched onto that, the gravity of the show, and people were just hyping each other up.
Remind me,
gassing each other up, if you will.
Yeah, if you will.
Yeah.
No cap on God. Remind me one more time. Did I talk about this last week? Did I get into my gripes about Ted Lasso last week? Did I get into that at all? I didn't, right?
No, you didn't.
Okay. Thank God. All right. So I got some gripes about the show. Okay. Especially the wrap-up finale, the put a bow on it. You know what I mean?
I think the finale is kind of the worst of the season.
Pretty weak. Just the way that they were like, and everyone gets what they want. I was like, okay. And it kind of felt like the last half of the season was just doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First off, it kind of irritated me throughout how much of the show the team was not good. Like they just kept losing. And it was like, I can only care about this for so long. But then when all of a sudden they're great, it wasn't like they earned it. It's just that they wrote it that way. Now all of a sudden the team is good.
Was it this season where he comes up with that crazy, like, we're going to do
Total Football?
Total Football, yeah.
Which was a ripoff of something else. Right. And so it was also like, okay, so you're not this coach, you know what I mean?
He's just a good vibes guy. He comes in giving good vibes and it's like, hey, you're all good. And that's going to inspire them.
And listen, speaking from one vibe guy to another, okay? Vibes don't carry you, okay? Like you cannot just do vibes. Like,
I mean, that's carrying this podcast. You know what I mean?
Thanks, I appreciate that. Just saying, like, sometimes you have to actually do shit, and I just don't think. And I could pull my weight more for sure. I just don't think Ted Lasso ever lived up to this. He never earned what they were giving him, you know. Yeah. And it wasn't like at the very last episode, the team they're like neck and neck, and the other team scores the goal, and everyone's like, "Oh no!" And they cut to him, and he goes, and they're like, "Why are you laughing, Ted? They just scored." And he goes, "Offsides." You know what I mean? Yeah. And then it was like, oh, he didn't know what offsides was this entire show, but he knew it now. Fuck off. Like, I didn't like some of that. And it's not Jason Sudeikis. It's more so just like the writing of the show, which is also like his show, right? Just a little bit like how they kind of just gave every character what they wanted in the end. Yeah. And I didn't feel like it was like all of a sudden Sam's character, Obisanya, he was kept from the Nigerian team, right? Yes. There was a whole arc about that. And at the end, they're just like, and guess what? He got on. And it's like, he was one of my favorite characters, and I would have liked to have seen him like earn that. And I think he absolutely could have from the jump because he was a good player, and he was a great person. But it was just like they did not allow him to be on that team, and then all of a sudden he was on that team, and it's like I wanted to see the in between of that.
Yeah.
The back and forth between Sam and Rebecca, the owner of the team.
Yes.
And then at the end, it's like, oh, you remember that one guy she had a fling with? Not a fling, but obviously they had chemistry.
Oh, yeah, episode. Dude. The one on the boat? She meets him. Yeah. I forgot.
And it was just
that.
Like, I would have been okay. It was kind of like the last season of Game of Thrones where I liked the beats that they were doing in Game of Thrones, but it did not feel earned. It didn't feel like really, I don't know. The through line just wasn't there. They just did it because you guys remember when all of a sudden Danny Rojas is in bed with 2 models again. And it's like, we haven't talked about that since like season 1 when he first showed up. And it's like, I kind of saw him as more than just this like Playboy player. He was more than that. And that's what they ended with him. You know, and oh, I'm sorry. I'm just going to gripe. I really did like this show. I really did have a great time. These characters, these ensembles were so good. And some of them really earned, I guess that's the theme, really found a place in my heart throughout the show. Like Jamie Tart, his transformation into a character that I loved was amazing. Nate the Great being a character that I absolutely hated through all of the show and kind of reluctantly understood the redemption that he got
when he turned heel.
Yeah, I was just like, no, but okay. Like, it's really your family and your girlfriend that make me like you, but you're not a good person. So, and I don't think you've changed in it for the better. But Jamie Tart, the one thing about Jamie Tart is I liked him. I didn't like him at first. I liked him at the end. I loved the arc. Can I tell you the one thing that happened that I was like, I kind of am glad that they didn't do this most of the show and that the show is basically over. He runs into his mom when he plays against Manchester. I think it's Manchester City or whoever.
Okay, yeah.
Like at the last couple of episodes, and he goes home to his mom because he's like having this like down and out moment with himself. He's kind of kicking himself about things and this and that.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, you know, his dad is a piece of shit, so his mom has always been there for him, and that's kind of like, okay, I understand that beat. We can do this. I get it. Do you remember this moment? Did you watch this? I mean, has it been a long time since you've seen this?
It's been a long time. I don't remember what's about to happen now.
Okay. My man, I don't know about you if you picked up on this at all, but they kind of give this like weird, like, I don't know how to say this. There's like this like weird sexual tension in the air between like him and his mom. And I'm like, bro, it's at one point she calls him, oh, you're my sexy little baby. And it's like,
oh, I do remember that bit. Oh, yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe if you were framing it at, you know, this is not it, but like,
it could
maybe
just be the British culture. If Ed was here, he'd kind of speak to it. Maybe that's like just the way that they do it over there.
They not like us, okay? Like I'm just saying. No, that's not for me, man. I was really put off by that. And the other thing is, at first I was picking up on these signals, and I was like, maybe I'm just misinterpreting it, but like, her bra kept hanging out, and it's like, okay, that's obviously a choice that the show is making. It's not like that's just the actress oops once, because it's like every scene it's her bra is kind of hanging out, and it's like, okay, there's only one message you're sending with that. But then I kept telling, maybe she was like a young mom, and she's like, her kid's grown up and out of the house, and so she's kind of like finding her beauty and independence and sexuality again. Okay, so maybe that's the direction they're going. But then like there was also a moment where, I can't believe I'm talking about this as much, where like they hug each other and they embrace, and the stepdad goes like, oh, here we go. Like he's seen this before, and they're like not letting go of each other. And you're like, okay. And then, like she's like, hey, do you want to go take them on a tour of the house? And he's like, okay. And he takes the other two characters on a tour of the house while they cuddle up on the couch. And again, you kind of assume they're doing this whole, like, he's kind of being like a child again, and he's like in the embrace of his mom, but it doesn't feel like that. And it's just like, man, it was like 10 minutes of one episode, and I'm so glad that they did not bring her back at any point throughout the show.
Because I was uncomfortable every time they kind of
I was so uncomfortable. I was like, I don't get this. I like this character so much. I don't really want to see this, you know? But on the same vein, flipping in that same episode, the whole conversation between Jamie Tart and Roy Kent, they love Keely, right? They both love this girl Keely, and they show up at her house, and they're like, you get to choose. Which one is it going to be, kind of deal. And she ends up not choosing either of them. And Kristen leaned over to me at that point, and she goes, why don't they just become a throuple? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what they should have done. No, so sorry, I kind of hyper focused on Roy Kent. Jamie Tart there for a second. The biggest overall gripe I had is the show's called Ted Lasso, and man, especially in this last season, he was barely in the show.
Yeah.
And that was my problem, is like, they never gave enough attention to any one storyline to really make all of the landings land. You know what I mean? It never felt like he became the coach he needed to be. It just felt like he accidentally did, you know?
Right.
It never felt like the characters fought for the things they wanted. They just got them at the end. And yeah, so overall, I think it's a great ensemble. There are great moments. It can be really funny. It can be really sad. But I just don't think it's the greatest show on earth that people made it out to be.
They had a moment where he was having like, he was working through his inner demons, and he always used like his joy and his kindness as a way to mask up like his problems and issues. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. But then when we got to the end, I don't remember ever feeling like, oh, this was resolved. It just feels like you said, things kind of ended. And I didn't know if he felt the same way about his journey when he was kind of, especially because they ramped it up in season, is there only 3 seasons?
Yes.
Wrapped it up on the 3rd season. And I was like, all right, how is he going to find his way back? And it just kind of like ends. But what do you think of
oh, good.
I was saying, what do you think of that like really good football player in season 3 where he's
the like Zava character?
Yeah, Zava. What were your thoughts on Zava?
So he's based on a real guy. I'm blanking on his name. But they're doing like not a parody so much, because it seems like they're trying to like give that. It's almost like they wanted the real guy to be on the show, but he couldn't do it. He plays for the LA Galaxy. He had that clip on Jimmy Kimmel where he talked about he moved to LA and they bought a new house and they bought furniture from IKEA. Did you see that clip?
No, I didn't. But I'm looking up this guy right now.
That's the real life person that I think that they were just trying to portray. I liked him for what he was, but again, it's like they were like, we need to use him, and then he needs to be gone, and so all of a sudden, he's gone.
I was surprised when he was gone. I was like, oh, we're sticking with this guy, and he's kind of like these people have bonded in the first 2 seasons. They have a repertoire, and then this guy's kind of shaking things up, and I was like, how are they going to survive this? This is how they survive? He leaves.
He just goes, which can be, and that's the thing about all these choices they made. It's like any one of these choices could be catalysts for the team to bond, for the story to move forward, to whatever, to unlock whatever door was locked. But because they never really focus on the right one at the right time, it's just like throwing a bunch of things against the wall and seeing what sticks, and then just writing themselves out of a corner. And I just didn't think it was super strong. I thought the acting was what was sold the show, right? The acting made these characters, but the writing left a little to be desired.
Yeah. Similarly,
go ahead.
I had the same experience with this other movie I watched. I watched MaXXXine, which is part of the X Pearl trilogy.
I can't wait to sit down and watch all of these movies.
So I just recently watched X because Sarah watched it for the first time, and I watched it with her. I like that movie a lot. I have to rewatch Pearl. I haven't seen Pearl in a while, and people like Pearl because it's like a different take on horror and it's like a new genre thing. But I kind of like what they're doing in X. So MaXXXine kind of directly follows those things that happen in the movie X, and I felt like by the end of it, I think this just could have been a short, like an extra bonus short that you get. It felt like they really elongated the whole process, and I wasn't really satisfied by the end of like who the quote unquote killer was, and some of the things she went through, I just didn't feel like, I don't know, connected. But the director's really good. Like, he's a great director, great visuals. He has like a style and tone to it.
Yeah.
But in the end, I was just like, oh, I felt like I could have just captured all this in a tight short by the end of it. I think it's probably, and I had this conversation with someone else, and they agreed that this is probably like the 3rd one. Like the out of the 3, it's like at the bottom.
Yeah.
I
feel bad. I can't. I didn't see any of these, so I'm like,
I totally agree. Yeah,
I get it.
There were some great moments with Mia Goth and like all these things. Like there were definitely things that brought me out. I was like, oh wow, this happened. But overall, it didn't really congeal for me.
My understanding is these are 3 different movies, 3 different characters, but they're kind of connected, and it's Mia Goth playing all of them, or she's the same.
So yeah, the first one is Mia Goth, and then the second one is the killer, who's like, so in the first one there's an old lady, and she's like killing all these like kids that are in the barn, and then in Pearl we see her when she was very young, so like in 1920s or whatever.
Okay.
And then that's also played by Mia Goth. But actually, the old lady in X is also played by Mia Goth. So Mia Goth plays the killer and the final girl in the movie.
Okay.
So then in MaXXXine, when MaXXXine happens, that is actually the same MaXXXine from X. And so she survives that. She goes to LA to kind of fulfill her dream of being a star. That's all she wants to be. She wants to be famous no matter what. So she goes to LA, becomes a star, surviving all this. And then there's like some repercussions of what happened from X as she tries to like book this big gig.
So it really is all connected. I thought it was 3 totally different things.
I think what's different about it is like the vibe and the tone. Like the first one is the first one's like a very like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The second one's like a Disney-esque horror thing, and then this one's just like 80s slasher a little bit.
Got it.
Yeah. I think there's a point to be made about X where Mia Goth plays both characters. I think it's there's a thematic reason to why that happens. She's just like, you know, I'm going to be a star and there's only one of me, and you know, no one else will ever be like me, and I'm going to be a star forever. And then you learn that the old lady also had similar dreams as her.
Oh.
You know? So they have this moment where it's just like, you'll never get what you want. And, you know, I used to be like you, and all of these things. And then when you go to Pearl, you see her story of trying to make it big as well. Like she thinks she has what it takes.
So
and then when she confronts that, you know, madness ensues a little bit.
I appreciate you not spoiling it because I could potentially see these movies. So I appreciate that.
I hope I didn't spoil it by giving that context, but yeah, I think it helps. I think it helps frame up your experience a little bit. If you do end up watching it. Yeah. Also, like, don't watch these movies when Forrest is around. I would say that for sure.
I just, you want to know something? I don't watch a lot of movies when Forrest is around because most of the time he's like, I don't want to do this, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. I will maybe watch these movies and I'll have a good expectation going into it.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to watch it. I guess you can't watch it at work and you can't watch it with him. Do you have an iPad or no?
Yeah. I can throw him on the iPad. Get out of here, little boy.
Oh, throw him on the iPad. Yeah. Twisters comes out this Friday. I'm excited to see it. I think hopefully we'll try to see it this weekend. And then we can do a feature discussion, see how well it does in the box office. We all want it to do well. Why don't you go watch Twisters 2 and help us out, huh? Why don't you put in your $12 and get us up there in some movie wager? But until then, it's been me, Luis Gonzalez, and with me's been
Miguel Sanchez.
And until next week, later Gators, and I see you.